Libra, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-March 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in energy and see what's happening for the lovely Libra collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these lovely Libras in mid-March? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Libra gang. What is the energy? What is the vibe for my good friends in mid-March? Let's get these cards out here. What do we got for my beautiful Libras? Okay, so there is a pretty fired up energy here, which is something I've been seeing for all the air signs this week, and maybe even last week too. We see this really powerful divine feminine figure. She's like pointing off in the distance, saying like, yeah, no, this is the way I'm going. It reminds me of the Chariot in a way, where there's just like a ton of determination connected to this card. Now, before we fully dive into that though, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the March subscriber surprise towards then, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So for some of you, listen, fire energy is an energy that works well with air signs, which as a Libra, you are one. So this could be an energy of doing things, making things happen. You might have a sudden burst of energy when this is here, which can be good. The only thing with fire energy is that it can be a little unpredictable. Now with this card, there's a lot of layers to it. We see this woman and she is pointing off in front of her. For a lot of Libras, maybe you need to adopt a future focused mindset, not what's happening right now, not what's happened in the past. Look at where you're headed. That's a big thing with this card. But at the same time, it's like ready to go. It's like I'm revving the engine. Something's building up, all this fiery, powerful energy here. So hopefully that's a good thing, right? Hopefully it's not predictable in a rough way. You might just feel a little more on edge or aggressive than you normally are. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of Libras haven't heard that before. Not a lot of people into astrology call Libras aggressive, but you're humans. Everyone could be aggressive from time to time, especially with all this fiery, passionate type of energy. So we're just going to put her down there. We'll see where it's headed. Maybe for some of you, it's like traveling, a trip, or changing something up. But let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card here, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here from a beautiful Libra. So what do we got here, my guides? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It did feel a little problematic, if I'm being honest with you, and the reading was titled The Big Problem. Now, I'm not hoping that any of that came to fruition for you. Maybe it was something you've been dealing with for a while, but to me, it was like, oh, it felt like a little draining. Okay, so we're going to hope to switch that up. And remember, energies could bleed over for a few weeks, so just keep your head on a swivel. But we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for the lovely Libras. What's happening in mid-March? Okay. All right. Okay. Starting real good. 10 of Cups is a great way to start. And so, I mean, that's already a silver lining. Even if we get a couple of rough energies showing up here, the 10 of Cups is really nice. Either that, unless you're feeling things on a very deep emotional level. But I like how that looks. Okay. All right, we do have the World here. So I feel like the energy is most definitely intense from what I'm picking up. I do like the World. It's karmic in nature. Let's get one more. Okay. 10 of Wands. So numerically, there's a lot of energies of something coming to a possible conclusion with all these cards. Like all of them do have those little links here. They all link to possible chapters closing out. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know, I always look for the elements and the themes that are at play. And we do have some in-your-face types of themes this week. We also do have some elements, like we have the water here on the front end, which is the emotions, the feelings, the card of family. We have the 10 wands, which is fire. So just like we saw in that very first card, it could be powerful. It could speak about your energy in general. And then we have the world. Now, in numerology, 10s represent the close of a cycle or something that's about to reach its apex. And then same thing here with the world. So there could be various cycles you've been working through that are coming to a close. That could be the case for some of you, but it's not all bad. That's the thing. I feel like there's some really good potential energy. Yeah, this one feels a little tough on the back end, but the potential energy is what I'm looking at. So let's go through and build this out piece by piece. So position number 1, we are starting with the 10 of Cups, one of the best cards in the whole entire deck. And we see here the happy family, they got a house in the background, the big rainbow with 10 full cups up in the sky. This is a card of wins and victories and wish fulfillment, right? Getting something that's like perfect for you, or the perfect ending of sorts. Now, this card has challenges just like any other. This could just represent situations involving family. This could represent situations about living situation or property and stuff like that. But if we're looking at the challenge of the 10 of Cups, it could be very, very intense emotionally because there's 10 full cups. When this card shows up in reverse, it can be someone that's having a very difficult time. So just know you might be a little more emotionally charged up than you normally are, especially with this first card we saw in the beginning. Now this 10 wands on the back end. There's a lot of charged energy here for the Libra collective. So we'll want to take a look at that. And obviously 10's the close of a cycle. So we want to see what cycle could be closing. Now moving to the middle, we have a very, very powerful in-depth card. We have the beautiful world. Now this card gets a bit of a reputation as well, and I will say it's the last of the major arcana. So whereas the Fool card is the very first, this is the one that closes it out. Now it's not always like a tragic type of ending. To me, it's like, all right, we're closing this chapter and opening the next. So that's the theme we've been kind of picking up. It's like, okay, put that chapter behind us. Let's go on to the next. And even here in the very beginning, I was saying, don't look at what has happened. Don't look where you're currently at. Look where you're headed. That's a really big thing, especially with the World card. Now, it could represent something coming to a culmination, to an apex, like I already mentioned. The World card could just represent something that's at full maturation, like it's reached what it's going to reach. In my simplistic terms, aside from endings and cycles, it is a very karmic card. So it could represent karmic cycles, karmic lessons, karmic situations. But to me, this card can also represent the world we live in as well, because it is the literal world. So whether it's you or someone else that you're connected to, what's going on in the world today could be affecting you on a deeper level. So we'll look at that deeper. It's just interesting to me that all these cards have very similar undertones. Now, as we get this tucked back in, let's talk about the 10 wands on the back end, because although it has similarities, it does have a bit of a different complexion. Now, the 10 wands is, just like all fire cards, very determined. We see this individual, they're carrying all the sticks, can't stop, won't stop. They're going to keep pushing. Okay, so this is a never say quit type of attitude. So whether that's you or somebody else, it's like, no, I can't give up, I won't give up, I'm going to keep pushing. That could be really good and valuable for a lot of you. But the 10 wands is a burdensome type of vibe, right? It's heavy. So whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, like when I see the 10 wands, it could be someone that's going through a difficult time, a hard time. I'm not just saying a test from the universe either. It could link to our health as well, our health and wellness. So whether it's our physical, mental, emotional wellness, when we see the 10 wands, you want to take care of yourself, because this energy can be very draining as well, similar to what we saw in last week's reading, where it's like, oh, this energy, it's just a lot. It's so heavy. For some Libras, you really need some self-care when this card shows up. And also when it comes to physical health and vitality, watch out for areas like the neck, back, and spine when this is here, because you might be holding extra tension there. So it's interesting how all this energy seems to work together, and it's like they're all moving towards some sort of culmination. So we're going to tuck that in right there, Libra. I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got going on for my Libra friends? What is happening? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that 10 of Cups. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages that you want to give to Libra, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, 10 of Cups time. What's happening? It's good. This is like the best case scenario. Okay, we have the Six of Wands in the upright. Now we're going to have to look and see how this energy splits up totally. Because when I see the Ten of Cups with the Six of Wands, it's like, all right, that is the absolute best case scenario. I can't believe it actually happened like that. So I will say this, for a lot of Libras in this time, aim high, shoot high, think positive. Because when I see this alignment, I mean, 10 Cups, Six of Wands, that's complete and total victory. I think it's awesome, especially with the recognition aspect of it. For some of you, that could really go a long way with like work, family, friends. You might get some recognition for the type of person you are, which is really good, and for the things you do. I will say this too. When I see the Six of Wands, it is an energy that is magnetic. It gets a lot of attention. So whether this is a person you're connected to or even yourself, just know you could be pulling lots of things in. You could be manifesting a lot of stuff when this is here. But I just love it. Like I said, this is like huge, like best case scenario, massive victory and win type of vibe. The only thing that is giving me a little bit of pause here is the fact that, yeah, we have this, but we have other options. We have other routes. So could this be different ways that certain situations could go? It's like, yeah, we have the best case scenario here. This one might be the tough road. So we're going to have to see like how it might wind up, because I feel like all these roads are leading to the same place, if that makes sense. But it's just different ways they might turn out. I like it. I feel like that front end energy, if that's what you're feeling and resonating with, claim it, because that's beautiful victory, best case scenario type of energy. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving over to the world, because now we'll get into the karmic vibes and see what's up with the 10 of Wands. So that's at least really good right there in the front. So why is the world here for the lovely Libras, please? Why is the world here? The deck is being specific. There we go. Page of Swords. That is one of your power cards right there. And just like I was saying, there's this energy of like magnetism, and you might be under the microscope from someone. That's one thing I can most definitely say, especially with the Page of Swords here, looking at the Six of Wands, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's like I'm getting overloaded with a lot of different messages here. Now, for some of you Libras, especially with the Page of Swords, that could be one of your power cards. There could most definitely be chapters that are coming to a close, or karmic cycles that are closing out or ending. So whether it's lessons that the universe was trying to teach you, you might be on the back 8 in regards to that, where it's like, okay, the worst of it's over, or I'm through the hard part. That's kind of like what I'm picking up here. So there could be different karmic cycles ending and closing out for you. But to me, it feels like the hard part's over. That makes sense. But again, with this Page of Swords, the world, and the Six of Wands, there is this energy of possibly being under the microscope of someone. So whether it's you waiting, like, when's this going to end? When's this going to be over? How's this going to turn out? There might be a situation where you're keeping tabs on it like that, like, all right, I'm unsure how this is going to turn out, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it. Or to just keep it plain and simple, there could be someone that's keeping an eye on you or watching in some form. So do it that way you will. I feel like that if there is someone keeping tabs on you, the energy you're presenting looks good. But let's keep moving forward. We're going to see what that 10 of Wands has. So this energy is coming through in such a unique way. We might be getting other people's energy swirling through here as well. But let's see why the 10 of Wands is in the mix. And interestingly enough, it's like we have this energy here, which is best case scenario. This one feels neutral in the center, where it's like, okay, well, that happened. Let's see how the 10 of Wands shows up. Let's see how the 10 of Wands shows. So what do we have here for Libra, please? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so it is the different path. And I'm also getting an interesting vibe here. I feel for a lot of you, the better path or the more optimal path is what's favoring a lot of the Libra collective, but there is still this option for something to not completely go the way you wanted it to. Okay, so there, for some of you, especially if there's a situation that's up in the air, I feel like it's leaning this way, but there's still a potential for it to really like, oh, that sucks. Like that didn't go how I wanted it to go. Now the Nine of Cups in reverse, it's an energy that's not really open. For some Libras, you might be going through a difficult situation. There could be some suppression going on, or just things that you're not sharing, especially if there's certain things that are affecting you in bigger ways than it normally does. But to me, I feel like these are 3 different roads to the same end, that a lot of you are going through these karmic cycles closing. And it's like, yeah, well, it could go great. It might not. It could even be neutral, but it's all heading to the same river. Right? It's all heading in the same direction. That's just how it's presenting itself to me. Either one, it feels like you're going to be fine, everything will be okay, but they all just present themselves in a totally different route. Not saying there's like 10 or it's like 3 or 4 different things that are ending. To me, it just feels like options or different possibilities, if that makes sense. The Nine of Cups could also be a bit of a solitary type of emotion. So for some of you, there might be situations you're going through and you're going through it on your own, or you're just processing it on your own. No judgment, right? But we have this very, very interesting way that energy is presenting itself. Let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll do a shadow card. If you kindly look in the box, position number 1, we start here with the best possible case scenario. If that's what you want, manifest it, claim it. We have the 10 of Cups with the 6 of Wands. Beautiful, victorious. It's like, yeah, that went exactly how I wanted it to go. This is the best case scenario. So for a lot of you, that option is on the table. Moving to the center, we do have the World and the Page of Swords. There's also a neutral option where it's like, okay, well, that happened. There could be different karmic cycles that are closing out for you, whether they're lessons you've learned. And I did also feel like the worst of it's over, if that makes sense. So that's another positive, I guess. But also there's this energy of eyes being on you. So whether it's a situation you're monitoring closely or someone might be monitoring you in one way or another, there's like watching happening. There's observing. Moving to the back end, we have the 10 wands with the 9 of cups in reverse. Not so nice. This energy does feel a little harder, but it's still moving to the same direction. Okay. Maybe the road you've walked was more difficult than some other Libras, right? Maybe some of you have walked an easier path. There's no judgment here whatsoever. But when I see the 10 of wands, 9 of cups in reverse, it's like I'm going through a difficult time and I'm going to go through it myself. And I'm not going to speak about it. It feels much more private. So there's things coming to a culmination with, for sure, with all the things we're seeing here. But please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a bad thing. It could be really good too. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. What do we got for the lovely Libras in the shadows, please? Thank you. Okay, Four of Pentacles. I've seen this card speckled throughout some of the other signs this week. Now, this is really good for monetary things. So for some Libras, if you're watching this for career or money-based things or investments, anything that relates to the monetary side of life, this is fantastic. For another portion of you, if you're saving up for a big purchase or a large purchase, this is also a very good supportive card where it's like, all right, yeah, everything's going to go your way here. I'm not saying tighten up the purse strings or tighten up the wallet when this card shows up. Sometimes it can be that, though. But when we're talking about the emotional aspects of the Four of Pentacles, that's where the shadow side really kicks in. Because just like this on the back end, it's solitary. It could be suppressing something. It could be not letting something out or holding on to something, right? So whether it's a feeling, an individual, or worst case scenario, it could be someone that's a little grudgy. But it's like, I'm holding on to this and I'm not letting it go. Whatever it might be. No judgment from me, but that's just the energy that can be here. So again, if this is like financial or, you know, investments or big purchases, fantastic. But if it's emotional, you might want to find some sort of release valve for this, whatever this is to you. So please take a screenshot of that if you want to look into that as well. But yeah, Libra, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the March subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me and get a little glimpse into whatever situations you're dealing with, you can check out my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The March schedule is up and live, but for the March subscriber surprise, giving away 3 copies of one of my most favorite decks, the Everyday Witches Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, and second, let me know down in the comments, where in this beautiful big world are you from? I'll go first. I'm from New Jersey, and you could just put it down in the comments and you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.